Blog Talk Radio.
Yo, what's up, world? It's badass thuggin' like I usually do, and you better turn it up, bust some speakers out, cause we off the motherfucking cuff. You dig how we do it? Dog Pound Gangsters 2000 and beyond. Blah.
Yo, check this out. This is your girl, Cola Vogue, and I'm chilling with my boys right here on Off the Cuff Radio. Cause we off the cuff right now. You dig?
Bet. What's up? It's your boy Lil Yap from UNLV, bragging up from the river, cooling with my homies and my family at Off the Cuff Radio. Y'all be sure to tune in on Fridays and get the latest scoop and find out what's happening. You heard me?
Tiffany Lavon.
And it's Queen Crazy, your girl's favorite bartender.
And we're from
Sex on the Rocks podcast.
Alright, you're now tuning in to Off the Cuff Radio.
Yeah, because they keep representing that real hip-hop. Well, much love.
Alright.
Y'all, this is Miss Irresistible giving a shout out to the livest show on Friday nights Off the Cuff Radio. And I'm live from the 704. Make sure y'all tune in for the blazing hot music.
Hey y'all, this is Stacey Lachey giving a shout out to King Eric and Off the Cuff Radio.
What's shaking, y'all? This is the Grand, one half of Lost Cause and 1/3 of that Drive Time thing. Sending my love to the homies over at Off the Cuff Radio. Tune in every Friday night for some real deal hip-hop conversation. These dudes are the connoisseurs of this thing. You already know what it is. BX Stand Up, HUD City, we're shaking. Peace.
Yo, this is Dope Fresh to Dine, and y'all tuned in to the most raw, uncut show on radio, the Guillotine Team, Off the Cuff, and yo, Eric, Sandman, off of these clowns' heads.
And we are now at episode 347 of the livest and dopest hip-hop show on Friday nights, Off the Cuff Radio. I am your host, King Eric, a.k.a. Rick Capo, a.k.a. Eric Mossberg. And we want to welcome y'all to a special episode tonight. First of all, I want to send my apologies for getting on a little bit late. We had a bit of connection issues going on. But nevertheless, I'm here live and direct, and this show is sponsored by Buddy Boy Entertainment, sponsored by Jesse's Boutiques and Core Financial. I got my host T-Mats with the facts in the building.
What it do? Friday night, OTC up in the building. You know how we always get down on the Get Down, dopest show on the airwaves. And King, you know what you said, man, this is a very, very, very special show. Our guest tonight, on Off the Cuff Radio, King, this is your brainchild for how we get wicked with the wordplay. And from all elements of hip-hop culture, this man we have on tonight, he brought to television one of the most essential elements of not only hip-hop culture, but African-American history and world culture in general, highlighting the spoken word. From poets like Countee Cullen, Langston Hughes, Nikki Giovanni, and so many others who have narrated our tales. This man right here is the curator, the cultivator, the creator, and the gatekeeper for one of the most influential shows on cable television, Def Poetry, which followed up, of course, Def Comedy Jam. King, go ahead and bring him on in, man.
We have my man, Bruce George, on the line, y'all.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, sir? This is Bruce George. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on
Bless.
with you, man?
Yo, blessed.
Everything?
First and foremost, I'm blessed. First and foremost, I would like to thank the good Lord for blessing me to be here before you and everybody, right? And I want to thank you, brother King Eric, for having me on your show. I want to shout out Off the Cuff Radio. I want to shout out your co-host and just thank everybody that's listening in. I really appreciate you.
Mr. George, it's an honor and a privilege. Me and King were in a production. Yeah, me and King were in a production meeting, with notes and everything online and everything. And to say that your credentials are incredible are a gross understatement. The achievements, the accolades, the awards, the recognition, the celebrity. You're a poet in your own right. This is a special show we got. Shout to King.
I appreciate you, bro. And what is your name, sir? What is your name?
I go by the name T-Max with the facts. I try to keep at least
T-Max,
a good 99 yes, sir. Good 99.9% clip of what I rip off in terms of making sure there's all truth.
Yes,
but
sir.
Yeah,
call me Bruce. Call me Bruce. I really appreciate
yes, sir,
you.
Bruce. Yes.
I appreciate you having me on the show as well. And the thing is this, man. Garvey said it best: "Up, you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will." Right.
Mm-hmm.
And God has this amazing sense of humor where He gives us this so-called free will to do what we want to do, but the fine print reads until you do what I instilled in you to do, you never have happiness and you'll never have purpose. So for me, it's all about not leaning towards my own understanding and acknowledging Him in all my ways, and He directs my path. And so it's not about the I, it's about the we. It's not about the individual, it's about the collective. And so that's where my mentality is, bro. It's not about the I. People get on this Hollywood-ish, and me, and empire building. No, it's not about empire building. It's about legacy building, right? So we can leave something to not only just our children's children, but we can leave something to our people as a collective in general, right? You get people with this empire mentality, which is exclusionary, right? It excludes other people, but it doesn't include the masses and the collective. So that's what I'm all about. So I'm excited to talk about whatever you want to, talk about, or whatever. It could be my Bandana Republic, which is my gang anthology. It could be the Genius is Common movement, which I'm the founder of that, the Genius is Common movement, deaf poetry, whatever you want to talk about.
Mr. George, you spoke on so much. Yeah. Yeah, please.
You started about the origins, about your come up in the old days of New York City, and what made you want to make that transition to being owner or self-made.
Okay, got you. The thing is, I was born in Harlem. A little bit about myself. I'm a lover of God, child of God. My work is my ministry. I'm a social activist. I was born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn for over 15 years. I'm a New Yorker to the umpteenth percentile. It's in my blood. When I bleed New York, and it's in my blood. So big up to New York. And so, in all points, north and south, because we respect all cities, basically, because, it's not where you're from, it's where you at. Rakim said it best. It's not where you're from, it's where you at. And so, I'm classic right brain. Psychology, philosophy, classic literature, neurolinguistic programming, metaphysics, body language, law of attraction. I specialize in power. I'm a wordsmith, word engineer, and a master quotologist. I come out of the streets. People say that, and a lot of times they really don't. They just trying to really fake the funk, or as we would say in New York, they fugazi, right? But no, this is real and verifiable. Come out of different gang cultures, been in just various different gangs, crews, cliques, and sets. I'm not proud of my past, but I'm not ashamed of it, in terms of certain things that I did. Very wild, very violent, very brazen. And then God turned my life around, and, the best thing that happened to me was getting kicked out of Samuel Gompers High School in the South Bronx. I got kicked out of there for inciting a riot between the blacks and Puerto Ricans. The South Bronx is mainly Puerto Ricans, and that was the best thing that happened to me. It was an all-boys school. It was wild, all that testosterone, and there was some tension between the blacks and Puerto Ricans. And we had this love-hate relationship. Growing up with Puerto Ricans, I'm not too familiar with our Mexican brothers, but I'm old school, so there wasn't too many Mexicans around in New York back then. It was mainly Puerto Ricans and some Dominicans. So we had this love-hate relationship. So every now and then, during high school, things would pop off or whatever. And then the tension got real thick. So I said, you know what, let me just release this. So, I smacked the dude that called the lunch line out, smacked him, took the mic. I was like, yo, what's up? All this posturing and ish, so let's get it popping. And then the shooting, stabbing, and everything. Instead of going to jail, they sent me to Job Corps. From there, I was bugging in there, whatever, fighting, punching windows out, whatever I was doing, all that crazy ish, whatever. And then from there, I was blessed to be able to, instead of going from there, I graduated from Job Corps because they believed in me. They didn't kick me out because I had my academics. And then from there, I went to college. And then from there, through a Niagara University opportunity program at Niagara University. From there, bro, I was off to the races and never looked back. So I tell people, don't judge people. You see that young boy or that young girl with a rag hanging off of them, you never know how they're going to turn around and turn out. So that's the abridged version.
Yeah. And one thing about it, Bruce, is that you came up, me and King, and we have so mmany hilarious discussions, but they're so serious at the same time about that old New York,
Yeah.
That
sure.
you talk and you talk about Harlem, shout out to Guy Fisher, and all them dudes
just got out
there.
Guy Fisher just got out. Shout out to the guy.
Yeah.
Just got out. Yep.
Of course, the Apollo, where the home of the Apollo. What part of Harlem did you grow up in? 125th or?
Well, my family is like deeply, my mother and father's side. They come out of Harlem. My father knew Nicky Barnes, and
okay.
they grew up together, and then I have, a brother that used to run with Bat and Gun, which is Nicky Barnes' lieutenants at the time. So he knew Bat and Gun. And so, we already know about the whole Nicky Barnes with the snitching thing. That's a whole nother show for another time. But,
right.
And the reason why he snitched or whatever, but that's a whole nother show. But, so my family grew up in Harlem. They grew up around Nicky Barnes. They all grew up together, and so they knew my family and my family knew them. So we were one of the first families to have fish restaurants in Harlem, bro. So we were living like high on the hog in Sugar Hill. My grandfather.
Yeah.
My
grandfather.
I'm
just saying, in terms of the royalty. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. My grandfather was the first black master plumber in the whole entire state of New York. Right?
Oh, wow.
First. And my aunt, Aunt Splank, I think she was the first baby. I'm not sure if he was the first or something like that was born in Harlem Hospital. I'm not sure if she was the first, but I don't know what you hear these different stories, but she was born in Aunt Splank, God bless her. She was the matriarch of the family. So in Harlem, we come out of that I think it's 130-something Street, I think it was, in Manhattan. It was Manhattan Avenue, but I'm not sure. But I was born in Flower. I was born in Flower Hospital, which is in it was like a real expensive hospital. Most people were going to Harlem Hospital. I was born in Flower Hospital, which was a private hospital, right, in Spanish Harlem. So I was born there, yeah. So then, but most of my life was like mainly like in the Bronx, right, and then I spent 15 years, in Brooklyn. I'm a lover of Brooklyn, but I'm repping BX all day, every day. But I love Brooklyn too, though, So, and when I was doing my dirt, some of my dirt I was doing it with Brooklyn. Some of my dirt I was doing in the Bronx, I had a brief stint with the Casanova crew out of Patterson Projects. That's where I had my first assistant stick-up, because I used to do stick-ups, whatever. I started early, but I stopped early, so I thank God for that. So Casanova crew, a brief stint, and then the Uptown Zulu Nation out of Edenwald Projects. Then the Bronxwood Boys, I had a brief stint with them, and then the Chaos crew, which was a Jamaican posse. They did music, and then they also not just did music, hip-hop, but they also did some dirt, too. So, I mean, the thing is, I don't want people to think I'm glorifying this. This is just, growing up, this is what we did. We made use of our environment, drinking 40s and OE and all that. You can start a car with that shit. Oh, English. You can start a car with this shit. You know what I mean? I know what it is to make zip guns and all of that. Make zip guns out of wood and masking tape and car antenna, like the old car antennas from back in the day, that rises up and will go down. That would be the barrel. The small part would be the pin. You feel me? And then we would cut the wood out, put the barrel in it, wrap the masking tape around it, drill a hole in it, and then that's where you put the single shot in it. You know, and that would be, and then when we would bust, we would always bust in a crooked way because if you never hold it straight, because if you hold it straight, you wind up popping yourself because a lot of the zip guns, they backfire. So when people would rumble, we call them rumble back in the days. You know, that's how far back it goes. So when cats was banging out, they call it banging now, but we call them rumble. So when cats was rumbling, when they would bust, they would always bust sideways, and no wonder they would always shoot the wrong person because they do it all crooked, holding it crooked so they don't get popped off themselves, you see?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, you got me all nostalgic now, you know, talking about
it's all good,
you know, that part of it.
It's all good, man. That's what brings special elements into the show because just hearing your backstory alone is intriguing.
I love it, you know, and I was on a show not too long ago where I talked about how we learned how to fight in Project Elevators in close quarters, right? So when we would go in the elevator, some of your listeners might be old enough to know this. When we go in the project, we go in the elevator, and then somebody calls corners. People that know when they call corners, that means you better hit a corner. And then when you hit a corner, then you got to start swinging right away. You see. And so what we would do is we would bust the light out in the elevator to kind of have a better effect. So the lights would be out, and then we would just like call corners when we go in, and then you swing and duck. And then whenever you get hit, it's like lightning. You see your eyes all bright. And then when they're swinging and missing, they hitting those old project elevators that have the aluminum. So it sounds like thunder, boom, boom, boom. I mean, that was fun to us, man. We didn't know how dangerous that was. And riding in the middle of the trains and riding on top of the trains underneath the tunnel. While it's underneath the tunnel, we was on top of the train, in the middle of the train. I never did the on top of the train shit. That's too 730 for me. You feel me? I was like, I would go in the middle of the train or whatever.
That's that crazy.
Yeah, that's too crazy. I wouldn't do that.
We know that lingo, man. We know the lingo.
Yeah, that was stupid. So like for me, I would ride ride in the middle of the train, and then I got locked up for that because, you know, I was in the middle of the train, and I was smacking people and snatching things from people, and then this cop caught me, and then I wound up doing a 24-hour lockup. He got me up the next day. It wasn't nothing. It was bullpen for a couple of hours, and then one time, and then another time it was 23-hour lockup. Then another time it was 3 days. Another time it was a week. And thank God that's all I did, you know. And I was wilding, but I started early and stopped early. And so that's why I didn't wind up in doing no real jail time, no prison time. And I thank God for that. You know, and I thank God that I stopped early.
And you know, Bruce, to give people a real illustration of what goes on in terms of those days, you know, of course, you know, and I would be remiss, you know, because you mentioned Harlem is where you were born, so we got to shout out some more heads. Of course, we got to shout out the one, the only drama king, DJ K. Slay. We got to shout out, of course, Pee Wee.
That's my dude.
Yeah, good friend of mine. We got to shout out we got to shout out Pee Wee Kirkland. We got to shout out the late, great Big L. I mean, of course, when you take it to the Bronx, man, I mean, you know, the BX, you know, Terror Squad.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Fat Joe, Pistol P. Shout out to, you know, Pistol Pete Rollick, SMM. Shout out to Soundview. You know, shout out to 141st
Soundview,
and Cypress.
Soundview is interesting. Stop it, Soundview. Stop it, Soundview. Let me tell you about Soundview. I'm going to tell you about Soundview. But listen,
go ahead.
I'm going to tell you about Soundview. Soundview is interesting. You know, shout out to my dude Shamel. You know, he was out of Soundview, right? And so one time I went to visit him, you know, and I was strapped up. You got to stay strapped up. And so anyway, it was him and I. We were walking in Soundview, and then he had his little girl with him in a stroller. So So we see these two dudes coming towards us, and then you know you can feel the energy and the vibe. And this dude was bopping all like he was all that. You know, and then they like came past us, and like one dude came real close, like he's gonna pull up or something. And I was like, "Yo!" So when he got real close, and then he acted like he's gonna pull up, I pulled out. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Yo!" He backed up, and he was like, "Yo, just put your shit back or whatever." I was like, "Yo, don't tell me what to do with it. I'll put it in you." You know what I'm saying? Put it back. I'll put it in you. You know, and then you know I had to protect my dude and his child, so. You know, and then he was like, and then I let him leave, though. I let him leave. You feel me? I let him leave. because he had his daughter with him. If his daughter wasn't with him, it would have been on and popping. And then another time in Soundview, I had this Derringer, and I was at this restaurant, this Spanish restaurant, and the joint dropped in the restaurant. Pow! I was like, damn, yo. That joint popped off twice, man. Never stay away from Derringers. I'm telling you right now. That's a death trap. Mm-hmm. That joint dropped twice on me, man, and went off twice. I could have shot myself or got somebody shot. And when it went off, the dude in the restaurant, he ducked. Everybody in the restaurant ducked because they thought I was sticking up the joint. I went in, and as soon as I went in, I had my Derringer in the pouch, right? And when and it fell off the pouch and it went and hit the ground, bah! They thought I was sticking the joint out. Everybody ducked. And then I picked it up. I was embarrassed. I picked it up. It had a hole in my pouch and everything. I picked it up, put it back in my pocket. And so I just wanted to, say that about Soundview. So big up to Soundview, Soundview cats. That's out of there. Out of Soundview, that's where you get blood, the Sex, Money, Murder is out of there in terms of Bloods. Yeah, that's where you get, you get Pistol Pete.
Yeah, because we actually, if it's okay, Bruce, because we also on this show, King and myself, our co-host and there are a lot of Sandman Ladies and shows, so Illa, we love shows like this. We love having guests like yourself up here because we also get to talk about so much history of that old New
Street
York
history,
in general.
all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know about how, SMM came about, with Pistol Pete, and that was actually because of OG Mac.
OG Mac, right?
OG Mac, United Blood Nation up in New York, and him and Pete had we did time together, and OG was telling Pete, yo, I like how you handle your biz on the street. He's like, well, how would you like to basically team up, basically come under our umbrella? And Pistol Pete was like, yo, that's cool, but I run my set myself, but I'll, but we'll come under it, and that's how, SMM came under Blood Nation. And a lot of people have ambiguation. United Blood Nation in New York and the Bloods in L.A. are not necessarily related to each other. Although OG Mac did come from Los Angeles, he is from L.A. But that is a totally different entity. You came up in a time, Bruce, with the Decepts, of course, Zulu Nation. So many of the other gangs.
Decepticons out of Brooklyn. You're talking about out of Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Yeah, Decepticons was big in Brooklyn.
What was those days like, man? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you, it was fun. I might be coming across a little 730. It was fun to me because I was the one that was putting in the work. So I was the one that was running with wild crews. I wouldn't run with your crew. I wouldn't give your crew click a set unless it was the most brazen, period. Right? And so what it was like for me, it was just real fun because I had that power. I know what it was like to be around a band of cats that would make grown folks' eyes get big. So that really attracted me. Like when I would roll up on a dude, a grown-ass man, I would roll up on him and, and his eyes get big. And I'm like, here, I'm a skinny, big-head dude, and he's afraid of me. That kind of gave me a charge or a lift. It was different, but getting back to the OG Mac, and the whole Blood Nation, United Blood Nation, big up to them. The thing is, why the Bloods got formed on Rikers Island. You know why, right? You know the history behind it.
I want to say that had to do with the Latin Kings, correct?
It had everything to do with the Latin Kings because they were and shout out to the Latin Kings as well. Shout out to the Latin Kings as well. King Blood.
King Blood.
King Blood is in my Bandana Republic. I'm the founder of the Bandana Republic. It's a literary anthology by gang members and their affiliates. Never been done before. Poetry, prose, short stories, and quotes and interviews from gang members, gang leaders, and those affiliated. We have a piece from King Blood who did a piece called As I Lay on My Bed. So big up to him.
Real name Louis Felipe. Right.
Okay, there you go. He's so huge that when the kings are around him, they bow. If they don't bow, their heads are off. You already know. More today. Right? All right, so more today. And so the thing is this, right? So King Blood. So the thing is this. Because the blacks on Rikers Island, they called them Germans, on Rikers Island. So anybody that was if you're Puerto Rican or whatever, they called you German. So they were saying that the Germans was like taking over the home, house and the phone, house and everything. And then the brothers was feeling real oppressed. So they banded up, and then that's when they formed the Bloods. I don't know if it was through OG Mac. The jury's still out on that. I don't know, but I don't know if it's through OG Mac or whatever. And then that's when they banded up, and did that thing. And then you have the Almighty Latin King and Queen Inca, King Tone. King Tone was the Inca out of New York. He was out of Brooklyn. So he was the Almighty Latin King and Queen Inca out of New York. So he was running the house and doing this thing. Ever since then, King Tone right now is a motivational speaker, by the way. So he turned his life around where he's working towards getting people to, to do the right thing. And so, yeah, that's why it basically got started, because it was beef between, the Latin kings, and so people got blooded up. And then, but the difference between the Bloods and the ones in New York and the ones in L.A. is that there's this discrepancy about the 5 and the 3 in terms of banging on the 5 and the 3, and that's why you get a lot of set tripping, because, they're saying that, you can't, that the 5 is for the Latin kings. That's the 5 point is for the Latin kings. And then you got Bloods saying that no, that the 5 belongs to them. And then people are saying no, they belong with the 3 point. So, and this is all gang language, so if your listening audience doesn't know it, that's a whole nother show for another day, another conversation. But those that know. And so, if you banging on the 5, you claim you banging on the 5, but then they're saying that the 5 belongs to them. That's where you get a lot of set tripping between gangs within gangs, and then you get the kings and the Bloods banging out on each other because of that. That's one of the reasons that they bang out. And so it's a whole lot of, but I don't get into that, because of the fact that I'm not a Blood. I have people that I'm affiliated with, but I'm not a Blood, so I learned to just stay out of that. I have comrades, T. Rogers, Triple OG. T. Rogers is one of my homies out of
Shout out
T.
to
Rogers.
Black P. Stones. Shout out to P. Stones.
He's Stone to the bone. You already know. Shout out to the
Yeah,
absolutely.
Out of Chicago.
Jeff Ford.
I told you, man.
Chicago.
We know.
I know you know.
Yeah.
Chicago. Shout out to Jeff Ford. Jeff Ford is in my anthology as well as Larry Hoover with the Gangster Disciples. So shout out to the Gangster Disciples as well. The Folk Nation, People Nation, or whatever. So, it's one of those things, man, that the gang culture really is street tribes or street organizations, but they turn into gangs when they don't have leadership. That's the thing that people need to understand. That they call it a gang, but they're really street tribes or they're street organizations. This comes out of our African culture, right? We were in tribes, and you got the Bantus versus the Zulus and the Hutus, and and the scarification on their faces, and all of those things. You get people talking about, I don't like women wearing weaves. Dude, that's a part of our African tradition. You know what I'm saying? Cleopatra wore a weave. What are you talking about? Learn your history, stupid. And then with tattoos and all of that, and you get these sororities and fraternities that they do these, they take their son and they do they burn themselves, right? Omega Phi or whatever, and they burn themselves with the branding. We've been doing that. So you can have tribal scars, so you can know who you are. They want to know who you are, right? Because if you have the wrong scar on your face, that's a problem.
Right.
That's how they could identify you. So the scarification was for various purposes. One, for chattel reason, in terms of slavery reason. We enslaved ourselves before we were enslaved. We enslaved ourselves first, by the way, for those that don't know. And then also for the sole purpose of, identification, as well as, different tribal, and then beauty. So it's 3 things: beauty, when we were enslaving each other, and identification with a different tribe. And that's how that went down. So, yeah. Your comments or questions, man, anything you want to talk about. My Genius is Coming movement, Deaf Poetry Jam, anything, street, culture, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, so in knowing and observing how a lot of these gang affiliates and gang leaders, they learn how to illustrate leadership and, get structured. Like, did you take qualities of what they've done and put it to your movement?
Absolutely. I mean, because the thing is, I specialize in power, right? And I have the word power tatted on my arm. And I tell people, you really have to study, right? Learn your lessons. I was a 5%er when I was in Job Corps. My name was Kamal Diar, complete and perfect, light and brightness. And so I was a 5%, had my book of life and the whole nine. I was running with some wild Brooklyn crew sets while I was in there. So I was good. You know, I'm from the Bronx, but when I was in Job Corps, I was running with the Brooklyn cats. And then when I got out of there, I was still running with them. You know, so I would hopscotch between the Bronx and Brooklyn. You know, like the T Connection. I have pictures of me in the T Connection. See, this shit is verifiable. I got pictures with me on 40 Doo-Wop, on 42nd. They call it 42nd. Call it 40 Doo-Wop. I got pictures of me with the beaver skin hats and the shark skin pants. And every time you see me, I have a bag. Damn sure wasn't no makeup in it. You feel me? Every time you see me with a bag, I had a burner in that. You see, and so so it's different. I mean, like the way gang culture is now, it doesn't really have the true leadership as it once did. And then because a lot of the leaders are locked up, they're Maxi Maxes in Colorado, Maxi Maxes in different. They Maxi Maxed out. And so if you don't have the leader there, then you got other people scrambling to play position. And then the shot callers are putting in orders from behind bars. And then when the orders hit the streets, it's already chopped up and said the wrong way and this and this and this and that. And then you got all these power struggles that goes on. So they turn back into gangs. They were street tribes, but now they're back into gangs. And then, because look at it like this way. Look at it this way. If you're in a blood neighborhood, right? You living in a hood, and like let's say you and your girl living in a blood neighborhood, and they know you in that neighborhood. When you and your woman get to that neighborhood, you're supposed to feel safe. Safe. Not no tight. You're not supposed to be tight. You're supposed to feel safe because you are in. They know you. You know them. That's your hood. Boom, boom, boom. Who's supposed to not feel safe? It's from somebody that's not from the hood. Who's supposed to not feel safe? Are the police. Are the police. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking real, right? So people, when you start setting upon your own people, that comes from a lack of leadership. Because you already know that if you do something that's outside of the code, you get violated for that. You already know. So a lot of them are not getting violated. They're just running wild, doing whatever they want to do. Popping off, set tripping, this and this and that, and then they wonder why, things go awry. Because I'm not going to say that they're not doing it the right way, because there's no right way to do the wrong thing. Let's get that right and straight right now, And Bone said it best because he added a piece in my Bandana Republic. Bone is the Athens Park blood.
Bone.
He was in training day.
Athens Park, Cleveland Sloan. It was in training day. Yeah,
it was in training day.
Sloan.
He's the one that told Denzel Washington, you got to put your own work in here. So anyway, Bone did a piece in my Bandana Republic. He said gangbanging is not a lifestyle, it's a death style. It's a death style. It's not a lifestyle. And T. Rogers put a piece in it. T. Rogers put a piece in the Bandana Republic where he said, the only thing in gangs is kids and cowards. And this is a triple OG saying that.
True. Bruce Holford said, because we got to let people really digest all of what you're saying, because you're saying these names, and me and King know who all these guys are. I mean, we know these guys in terms of their history.
Big up to T. Rogers and Bone.
Yeah, and especially because there was two questions we wanted to ask you. One has to do with because we'll get to OG in a second, because this kind of is a companion question to the one we got for you. Where gangbanging is very serious. A shout out to the Bloods, Crips, Pyrus, Vice Lords, GDs,
Damu,
everybody out there, Damus, everybody doing what they do, man. I mean, we respect y'all, gangster in the street. No matter what color you are, Asian boy, Crips, Mexicans, everybody.
But the thing is, you can shout them out, but the thing is, we have to get them to tie those rags together. That's the goal, to tie those rags together and to protect the hood, not set upon the hood. To protect your hood, not set upon it. We don't want to glorify. I'm just speaking for me. I don't want to glorify gang banging. That's nothing to glorify. It's, for me, it's about getting them to politicize them, bro. See the bigger picture and politicize them. And that's what King Tone said when the Bloods took over Rikers Island, you know what King Tone said? You can have Rikers Island. We want City Hall.
They said with the Latin Kings law enforcement, that the Latin Kings unequivocally are the most organized gang in the United States. I mean, in terms of their hierarchy, in terms of their council, administration, it's like they say it's run like a Fortune 500 company in terms of how everybody has their specific position of how things go. You just mentioned it. What would you just say? You just mentioned the peace stones. Come on now, you know how organized they were under Jeff Fort. They were running stores. Yeah. They were running legitimate businesses in Chicago. So shout out again to Jeff Fort. So they were like super organized. Super organized. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom though. They were super organized. No. I just wanted to make sure you got it in with them too. Sure. Yes. No. On this show, we always welcome input and the correct information. Now, we want to ask you this before we get too deep in the conversation and we stray off of it. The situations in terms of what we're seeing now, because me and King talk about this all the time about how we see a lot of rappers. Because back in the day, and shout out to a lot of the, our past guests, and good friends of ours, who are legitimately and verifiably affiliated. And back in the day, when you saw a lot of rappers coming out, like with NWA, rest in peace to Easy, of course, shout out to MC Ren,
Absolutely.
They were, Kelly Park, Compton, Crip, but they never put that out there publicly. Just like with Ice-T, I believe Ice-T was 5 Deuce Hoover. Of course, with Compton's Most Wanted, Travis Park, Compton, Crip. Yeah, Nipsey Hussle was Rolling 60. Of course, 60, right. DJ Quick. You had DJ Quick.
E40. E40 was blood. E40 blood.
I didn't know it was blood.
E40. I think E40. I think E40's. I think he was repping blood. I think E40's repping blood. I think so. I'm not 100% sure though. I think E40 was repping blood.
Yeah, of course, DJ Quick. He's a Treetop Pyro.
Pyro. Okay.
Yeah, and I know.
You know what that is? Hey, T-Man, check this out. I already figured. I had to say this before it hit my head. I think what it is, the difference between those brothers then and the brothers now.
Mm-hmm.
See, the brothers back then, they wanted to make the best music because they Street Ties was already certified. They had nothing to prove. So then they had to move into a different realm and to prove they're the best producer, prove to be the best rapper, prove to be the best engineer. Now, it flip-flopped today to where a lot of these guys, they don't have really the aptitude like Quick or E40, all them. So what they got to do, they got to flaunt like they're the biggest, toughest Don Dada out there. And this is where you see the reverse ricochet going on. Now, but yeah, you listen to these guys and you see them musically, they're not really hitting it musically. But you see them all extra with the red rags, the blue rags, not even knowing what they're claiming, but that's a reflection
of and that's why they get banged out on. Because you got bounty hunters going around looking for false bloods, you see, and that's why they get banged out on. And I hope some of them are listening. If you got to stop false flagging, stop. People risk their lives. This is not a game. People risk their lives being in these street tribes and these street organizations. I'm talking about the ones that are really true to it. And then you get these fugazi cats that come into the business or come into it on some false flagging and then that's why you get the bounty hunters and they start hunting, and right away when they come up to you, they're going to definitely ask you some questions. And then if you don't answer it correctly, and I don't give a damn how many teardrops you have on your face, if you don't answer it correctly, you're going to get violated. Somebody's pulling out that black dress. You see, and you know what? And I really fault the music biz, and it's who's pulling the strings though. You know what I'm saying? It's these cats that don't even look like us that's pulling the strings. They're getting rich off of our culture, and we're the ones that are dying. We're the ones that are dying. We're the ones that's on the streets, but yet they're getting rich off of us, and they're in their Beverly Hills, they're in their beautiful mansions, they're in this and this and this and that, and we're the ones that's dying. We're on the streets because we have to, we're living it, and they're getting paid off of it, and we're dying. And they're giving us a pittance of what we make for them. We know that whole formula.
right?
Right.
And the next thing you know, it's like it's super whack, man. So anybody that's talking about some black on black crime that's whack. That's super whack, and I'm saying it. And I'm gonna definitely say it. I don't give a damn. It's whack. We need to unify. And if that racist idiot in the lighthouse doesn't make us become aware of that fact, then I don't know what the hell would make you become aware of that fact. We need to come together. It's about unifying. It's about tying those rags together. If you're going to bang for the people, bang for freedom. Right?
And
as that press said, bang for freedom.
Right. And this is a perfect, that's a perfect segue. That's a perfect segue to my next question for you, Bruce. Where we have a lot of these, because we see woke culture has become, which is not doing the knowledge as us children of the hip-hop call it. To me, a lot of this woke culture is nothing but counterfeit fraud academics. It's pseudoscience, it's pseudo-intellectualism. But yet and still, especially with that guy who got elected, who finally got evicted, we even saw some of these individuals trying to say why he was for us and spreading a lot of false information or leaving a lot of key elements out. We don't necessarily have enough time in the show to go on the crime bill because that's a whole different story. But a lot of that stuff, there was some truth. There's some elements that happened in it, but not the way that a lot of people try to say that it was. How important is it for us as a people to really, really, really understand and have real knowledge in terms of reading, not using, Google and Bing education to try to come off as some type of a distinguished academic when their pedigree isn't even that of a mutt, trying to actually act like they a dog on the book.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, when people don't wait till you go to prison or wait till you go to jail to start studying and getting into your knowledge and all of those things, because that's whack. I mean, with Google and all of these different things that we have, you have knowledge at your fingertips. See, I'm old school. I'm of the microfiche era. We had to go to libraries and look in the microfiche to get information. You see, I'm dating myself, right? And so the thing is, with these cats, they have all this information at their fingertips, and a lot of them are not taking advantage of that. And then, but you do have people that are. You do have people that really are doing the damn thing and really turning their lives around, that came from gangster culture, and turning it around, like the Furtado brothers. I got to shout out the Furtado brothers out of Queens.
Lance and Tony.
Lance,
Tony, and Todd.
And Todd. I hit up Todd actually today. He was going to call me today in reference to my Genius is Coming movement. So big up to Lance, Todd, and Tony, Pretty Tone. And so they have the King of Kings Foundation, as you already know. And so they turn their lives around. And then they have the clothing line. They have the clothing line, Revive, called Revive, right? And then Prince, who's an OG out of Boston, he has an organization called Gangsters Gone Legit. I need to connect you with him for him to be on your show. I'm real proud of that brother.
Love to have him.
Yeah, he's a OG. That's really, really official in Boston. He's well known. His name rings bells all through Boston, and so he has his organization, which is about to turn into a movement called Gangsters Gone Legit. So he's interviewing gangsters that have been in jail for prison for mad years, and then so he's turning his life around. He turned his life around, and they're turning their life around. That's what it's about. But what the difference is, you got these cats that's into this culture, this destructive culture, where they trying to go back into the streets. They were trying to get out of it. What the hell are you trying to go back into the streets for? You want to get out of the streets, not go back into the streets and get back into banging. They want to get out of banging. Cats don't want to be banging. True bangers will let you know that is nothing to be happy about. It's nothing to be glorifying. Your life is always on the line. You're always watching your back. You don't know who to trust. They trying to get out of that. It's not they doing all this rapping. No, they trying to survive, right? And so it's only a few of them that be rapping. A lot of them are on the run, on the move. They're not eating right, not looking right, not feeling right. It's not like the picture that people painted out to be. Always on the run, always catching cases, always fighting cases. That's not the way to live.
So don't believe the hype, yo. I'm telling you, don't believe the hype. Gangbanging is not a lifestyle, it's a death style. And it's about us coming together. You know, like Dead Prez said, you know, big up to M1 and Stickman. Those are my people right there. And so, like they said, if you want to bang for freedom, right? Bang for your freedom. Bang against the police that's like, you know, protect your neighborhood. You know, don't let nobody come up in there and manhandle nobody. Manhandle your women. You know, manhandle the elderly. They're supposed to be secure when they come to your neighborhood, not tight. So, you know, it's one of those things. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's also a case of where we lost that sense of code in a way. And it's
Absolutely.
also a case of where, for some reason, we always wondered, and we always seen this, and I've seen this on many discussions, where people are saying, how come is it that we are so quick to bang on each other, but the police can do the same thing, and nobody, they want to sing holy spirituals. It's like the fear factor
exactly.
they come in.
Yep, absolutely. You know, and it's not like we're afraid to die. We're killing each other. We're not afraid to die. It's just that people are getting it twisted. But I have to give our young folks a lot of credit. They out here, they putting their lives on the line, you know, fighting this system. So I give a lot of credit to those that are in the system. That's really Victor Cherry, you know, OG Blood. Got to give him credit. That's my dude right there. Who really, he was one that, I think he spoke at the Million Man March. He was one of those individuals that spoke at the Million Man March. He did. And I was at the Million Man March, by the way. He was one of the speakers of the Million Man March, representing the Bloods. And so he's doing some great work. He's a poet, writer, speaker, educator. He's been doing that for like over 20 some odd years. I think 30 years or 25 years, something like that. So, and he's about unifying people, you know, as well, you know, and that's what it's all about, just unifying our people, lifting up our people, protecting our people. You know, you got videos, cats doing videos where they beating up a black woman, you know what I mean, and they filming it on Facebook Live. That's just sick.
Man, yo, it's crazy.
That's some super sucker shit. That's some real super sucker shit right there, man. You know what I mean? We're supposed to protect our women. They're not bees. They're not no bees. Those are queens. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's sister. You know? They're not hoes. They're not bees and they're not hoes. Those are queens and those are sisters. Those are daughters. All of that. You better be careful about calling a woman a B word. You don't know who her father is. You don't know who her brother is. You don't know who her cousin is. There's some people that might be missing some cans, a couple of cans shy of a six-pack. And there are a lot of people now that's dead and stinking. They're not even stinking anymore. You know, as a result of making that mistake, you know, and just we need to respect each other, respect our women. I'm very protective of black women, bro, very protective. Ain't no woman getting beat up around my ass. That's a free get out of jail card. You heard? It's not happening on my watch. It's not happening on my watch.
You know what? This is what we want to, and this is what we let it be known to on this show here, because you know there's a whole little smear campaign going around where they say we don't protect black women. These three men that you hear on this show right now, you touch any of the women we love, we coming after you.
Around us, you taking your head off to the meat shows. I could be on my way to a wedding, bro. I could be in the fucking, pardon my language, I could be in the limousine. If I see a woman getting beat up, especially a black woman, I'm out that bitch with the white tuxedo on. I don't care what I have. I'm out of there. That's a free get out of jail card for me. And to the meat shows, to the gray matter, you heard? Straight up, that's crazy. And you're going to pull out your spineless ass, you a dude, you're going to pull out you see a woman getting beat by a dude, you're going to pull out a cell phone and do a Facebook Live. That's some real B-ish right there. You know?
How did we...
Crazy.
You know, how did we get so backwards as black people, some of us, not all of us, of course, but some of us, where we started looking at the worst elements of what we do as entertainment? Because, you know... even from the most abhorrent acts of abuse on our queens to where we just see niggas acting stupid. Just doing all types of silly stuff. I mean, guys like, what was that dude, Boot Gang? Like, when Boot Gang was doing, when Boot Gang was doing all that crazy shit online until
I think somebody actually broke his jaw, and I think he got it wired right after that. And you don't see Boot Gang around anymore doing all that crazy stuff.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you where that comes from. I'm gonna tell you where it comes. It not only comes from the marching orders that they got from these record label heads that's running it and telling them what they want them to talk about, and they're not going to pay them if they don't talk about blood, murder, whatever. It's also that they've been demonized, man. They have demons in them, bro. In the Bible, God says, this is in Ephesians, he says, this is a war not of the flesh but of the spirit, and those people in high places and principalities, right? And so they have demons in them. And so that's why you're getting them with all of these facial tattoos all over, all these 1,000 piercings, 1,000 tattoos. That's a spirit that's on them. Women too. They got that demon spirit on them. And not realizing that, that's not righteous. That's non-cipher, as we would say when I was a 5%er. That's non-cipher. Right? And so they marking their body up and all this and all that.
Yeah.
You already know. That's non-cipher. So, they got all this on them, and blah, 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 all this crazy, the tongue splitting and all of this stuff. I was watching a video on TikTok, and this is a white woman, though. She was dressed as a dominatrix. She had a tongue split. And do you know what this devil said? She said if God was real, she would have him eat her, you know what? That's what she said.
In the words,
straight to hell.
In the words,
straight to hell in a handbasket.
Yo,
I got off of that right away. I got off of that right away.
Hey,
I didn't watch it
I
again.
think what it is too.
When she said that, I was
ghost. What it is too, bros, is a lane for what they would call demonic culture, because from the looks of it from the outside, it's very intriguing for a lot of people what they see. So they put $1 million marketing tool behind that, and you're gonna start seeing it even when you look at YouTube. You see it in your recommendation. Like even after you saw that video, you're gonna see recommendations of that same type of dialogue. So that's where they created that $1 million push behind it.
And let's take it a step deeper. Let me tell you, there's a movement afoot. A lot of people don't know this. MK Ultra. There's a lot of different organizations that are designed to feminize the black man, right? Mm-hmm. Because we're a threat. We're a threat to the system. So anything or anybody that is a threat to the system, what do? They'll feminize you. So that's why you see a lot of dudes walking around with halter tops and spandex and all these funny cross-dressing clothing. And these are straight-up dudes that will pop you up. But they dressed in all these funny, weird colors. But where did they get that? Where did that come from? That came from a lot of gay designers. Okay? A lot of gay designers. I mean, no, so if you're gay, if you straight, well, you gay, well, I don't give a damn what you are, gay, straight, bisexual, whatever. As long as you stay in your lane, I'm good. So I'm not hating on the gay culture, whatever. I respect somebody that's out with it than somebody that's faking a funk. If you with that, be real. I'm not mad at you. You know what I mean? I don't condone it, but I'm not going to judge you. But you get people that's on the low, and here it is, you messing with a woman's head. Either if you that way, let that woman know that. Don't be spreading diseases to her, AIDS and all that stuff to her, whatever. So, yeah, man, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the devil, what a lot of people don't know, listen to this wisdom, but a lot of people don't know that the devil was the minister of culture. A lot of people don't know that.
He was
in heaven.
He was the
minister of culture.
Lucifer. He was the artistic one in terms of music and all of that. Culture, like you said. Before God kicked him out because Lucifer plotted against him to try to take over heaven.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing right there. So he was the minister of culture. So no wonder he's going to attack people through what? Culture. Through music. Yeah. Through whatever. And that's what's going on. A lot of people, he knows his time is up. He was given 6,000 years to reign, and his time is about to be up. He's about to get evicted. So you're going to see good versus evil. As they say, the last days, good versus evil. You know, and why do you think we got that idiot in the lighthouse, cracker in the lighthouse? He's straight up Antichrist. That's the Antichrist. Straight up.
You know,
narcissistic Antichrist.
You know, Bruce, the one thing about it that really was troubling for me, because, you know, in terms of, there's a difference between being truly conscious and then counterfeit conscious, and this goes out to all those frauds out there, those fraud philosophers who are nothing more than, you know, counterfeit cronies of crooks, you know, who are, you know, culpable in all types of corruption to the community. And I'll say it again, y'all are frauds. But what I've seen is that when we understood what, you know, because I refuse to call that guy in the White House ever as president. I refuse to. I just call the guy who got elected at 45. You mean the guy in the lighthouse? Yeah. Yeah.
Agent 45. I call him Tang Cheeto. Oh, good. I'm listening.
But yeah, but
Cheeto Brown.
Yeah, he's out.
Cheeto
Look, y'all. He's out now, so we can't get in trouble now. So, you know, but when I saw so many, you know, black people who were co-signing him, you know, trying to say, we saw, look, it ain't dry snitching because we saw the film. When we saw people like Ray Lewis, when we saw guys like Kanye, you know, we saw all these, Omarosa, we saw all these celebrities coming out there trying to say why he was going to be good for the community, and all of us, and the ones who like we really know, we're looking at like this dude's about to put this country in the shitter. I'm like, and what are y'all thinking supporting this guy? But I'm gonna take it deeper because I feel like this goes back to the field Negro and the house Negro, and you know, am I calling them that? No. What I'm saying is there's still a situation where it's like you still have people who know that somebody is not the most correct individual. And as black people, we'll do it with other black people. We'll associate with those that are dangerous for us at times, and we shouldn't. But it's like when you know that guy and his reputation, how are you going to try to pony up to someone like that? And, you know, and to see a lot of black people who were defending him throughout these past 4 years with all this stuff, even talking down on us, calling Africa, you know, in the continent, the mother Africa, the continent, and saying, why are all these people from shithole African countries coming here?
Yeah, the shithole nation, shithole countries.
Here? You know, yeah, why are they coming here? You know, basically talking about he doesn't feel he has to identify, you know, with black pain. You know, I mean, this guy is he brushes off any type of minority struggle or any struggle for that matter because these people aren't, you know, in a privileged class like he is. Notice I didn't say rich because we found out that wasn't true either. You know, so, you know, so it's like there's so many elements to it that it was just something that, you know, me and King would talk about it, and it's just crazy to see how people will align themselves in with someone who they perceive as having power, thinking that they're going to get a taste of it. But the fact is, these people really don't care about you. They care about their agenda, and their agenda a lot of time is of avarice. It is of, you know, Bacchusism. It is of, you know, gluttony. It is of everything that is ungodly.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why you got, it's all about money that you get these rappers that was endorsing them. You know, we've all heard about the 50 Cent and then, you know, Ice Cube wanting to work with him. You know, Little Pump, right? And you heard what happened when he was at the rally when Agent 45 called him, right? Little Pimp. And that's good for him. And he knew his name, but he did that on purpose. He said, everybody welcome Little Pimp. And then when he corrected himself, when he got off the stage, he said, well, let's thank Little Pimp. I think he said after that, he said, let's thank Little Pimp again. So, I mean, it's like, that's what you get. You know, all money's not good money. You know, Christine Machette, the singer Christine Machette when she met with Agent 45.
Chrisette Michelle.
Chrisette Michelle. And then Steve Harvey. You know, you can't dance with the devil and expect that everybody, everything's good. No, all money's not good money. And let me tell you something. Now that racist idiot is out of our house, they thought he was going to win. Now that his butt is on his way out of the lighthouse, they're going to have to be held accountable to the people. I'm telling you, people are not feeling that.
If we can break it down for a second, Bruce, because I can already see with the way this show is going, we're going to have to bring you on for a part 2. We're already booking you today.
It's all good.
Now, with the situation with Chrisette Michelle, and to give our listeners a little bit of clarity on that situation, because, of course, when he got elected in 2016 or stole his way into it, the fact was Chrisette, now this situation was so deep. Shout out to Questlove of the Roots, because Questlove said he would even pay her not to do it, what they were going to pay her to perform. And Chrisette, it wasn't Chrisette was trying to make a name on it. She felt like she had as a duty for the black community to represent us. And I can't be mad at her for wanting to be a presence, but even then, sometimes when you say no, my thing is that speaks louder when you don't go, because you're really making it known where we stand. But her thing was in her heart of hearts.
You guilt by association.
Right, and she felt because her words were, I felt I needed to be there because I needed to show him what we look like. That we are here and this is what we look like. And I felt her on that. But my thing was, with a guy like him, he doesn't care about us. This is a racist, misogynistic, chauvinistic pig, who, talked about grabbing women by the pussy. And I'm like, talking about he could shoot somebody in Times Square and he would still get elected. And no matter what color you are, black, yeah, go ahead,
See,
King.
the cold part about it, it's a real cold game, because what he did was he basically tapped into the inner emotion of a lot of pissed off white people that wanted to really showcase that true outright hatred in a way. So what he did was, that's what he got the Steve Bannon up there, and they really tapped into that
Stephen
lane.
Miller.
So that way
Don't forget Stephen Miller and all those guys. Yeah.
And
then look what he did when he got him in there. Threw him to the slum.
David, he just threw him under the bus. He threw him under the bus. And you know why he did that? I'm gonna tell you why he did that. Because he's a narcissist. He's a straight narcissist. He's not loyal to anybody, and that's how a narcissist is. Not. If you don't follow their rules, if you don't go by if you don't do everything they want you to do, they get rid of you. That's what a narcissist is. He's a straight up, not covert. He's a straight up, overt narcissist. And what a narcissist would do is, at the very beginning, they will value you, right? They will value you. They'll love bomb you. They'll show you all this love, this so-called love, right? That's the valuation stage. So they value you. Then once you do one thing that goes against them, then they devalue you. Right off the bat, once you disagree with them one time, they devalue you. And then the next thing you know, it's the idolization stage. First they idolize you, then they devalue you, then they discard you, right? And that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. As soon as you don't move the way they want you to move, they get rid of you right away. And so, yeah, man, so definitely I want to make sure that we get some time in to talk about my Genius is Coming movement, which is on fire.
Go ahead. Definitely. We also want to develop to shift the gears off the politics for a minute. We also want to talk to you about Def Poetry Jam and how do you get that to come together.
Absolutely.
Like, what was the origin idea of that, and how did that thing come to fruition?
Well, it came about because I was heavily on the spoken word set back in like '94. So I made my bones and really worked my way up. I'm a wordsmith, word engineer, boom, 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 right? Back to the grill again to cook up more plots than Gilligan, So and just really heavily into it. I did what is called spoken rap because I was a rapper first, and then so when I got on the spoken word circuit, I won a lot of contests and worked my way up very quickly because it was different from what most people were doing. And so made a big name for myself, and then eventually I wound up meeting Danny Simmons, who's Russell Simmons' big brother. And I was at home. I was in Park Slope, Brooklyn, and it was a day that was a beautiful night. I was watching Def Comedy Jam, and I was eating a burrito. It was a beautiful night. I had my iguana. I was looking at my iguana in the tank, had a beautiful burrito. My iguana was in the tank. And then I watched Def Comedy Jam, and I was on the spoken word circuit then. I was like, wow, a mic, an audience, a stage, Def Comedy Jam, Def Poetry Jam. And I didn't know what to, do with that because I didn't know anybody. Then I heard through the grapevine that Danny, who was a poet and writer and all that as well, he got that, I think it's from his mother or father. He was in Brooklyn at the time. He since moved to Philly. He's in Philly now. So he was in Brooklyn. So I came through with some dudes, because at the time I was with the Black Panther Collective, which is an offshoot of the Panther Party. I got politicized. I've been politicized for years. So I was a part of the Black Panther Collective out of Harlem, the Harlem branch. So we rolled through, and I went to his house / gallery in Brooklyn, and I told him, I said, well, what do you think about there being a poetry version to the Def Comedy Jam? And then he got warm on me with that. And then he told me to run it by his son, Jamal Simmons rather. And then I went back to Danny and I was like, yo, let's make this thing pop. And then from there he set up a meeting at Def Jam Universal. And then Bob Sumner was there, who created Def Comedy Jam. And then they said, okay, it's your meeting. What's up? And then I told him, I said, you did Comedy Jam. You got Bill Bellamy, Martin Lawrence, you made stars from it. What do you think about there being a poetry version? And then Danny and Bob Sumner was already sold on it, so then they had to just sell it to Russell. And then Danny set up a meeting between Russell Simmons and myself and Danny, and we were tag teaming Russell to let him know, yo, this spoken word thing is hot. You might want to jump on it. And then Russell was like, yo, what is poetry? A bunch of niggas on the corner with dreadlocks? I can't make no money from that shit. And then we had to kind of convince him, but he was really playing the devil's advocate. He knew. He's a very sharp dude, so Russell knew that he could make money from it, but he just wanted us to really be able to lay the picture out for him. He knew that it was a bubbling culture because everywhere he went, they were throwing it in his face, or he would see it or hear about it. And then one thing led to the other, and then the next thing you know, boom, 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 we wound up getting a 4-season pilot, which turned into a 6-season show. And Richard Pepler was the president at HBO at the time. And I was the one that suggested that Mos Def, a.k.a. Yasimbe, be the host because he's the bridge between rap and spoken word. But at the time, he was with the Lyricist Lounge on MTV, so that goes to show you how far back this thing goes. So we had to commandeer him from MTV to HBO, and then Mos Def said, in classic Mos Def speak, I'll get down with it, but it can't be whack. And then, the rest is history. The rest is history. It wasn't whack. We wound up getting... We wound up that 4-season pilot turned into 6 seasons. We wound up getting a Peabody Award for 6 seasons on HBO and a Tony Award for the Broadway version. I was the town executive at HBO and executive consultant to the Broadway show, and the rest, as they say, is history. So we got the Peabody Award, the Tony Award. I'm looking at my Tony Award, Peabody Award right now. The Tony Award, they want us to pay for that shit. I'm not paying for that. I'm listening.
Bruce, we got to we got to let our listeners know in terms of, not only was that a stellar show, if the show was stellar, then the guests you had were gargantuan Godzillas of greatness.
Rakim, KRS-One,
Dave Chappelle,
Dave Chappelle was on that flight.
Smokey Robinson.
We had Smokey Robinson, like Amiri Baraka, Sonia Sanchez. It was crazy. I mean, Jamie Foxx was on it with his crazy self. I mean, we had like Caroline Kennedy, Benjamin Bratt, Jewel. We had so many rappers and actors and comedians and on the show, and it was so surreal for me when we was filming it, in Manhattan at a restaurant. That was a restaurant that Malik Yoba, shout out to Malik Yoba, that's my homie. The actor Malik Yoba used to own that restaurant. So we filmed it at an old restaurant that he used to run. And so, so it was a nice run, man. HBO had me up in the Mondrian in Beverly Hills. The fucking hotel was spinning around. I ain't know nothing about nothing like that.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Son, we got to tell you though. How did y'all get? Now, what was the criteria? Well, I don't even want to say criteria because that discredits the guest. How did y'all get? How was it? They reached out to y'all to come on, or did y'all reach out to them?
Oh, you mean in terms of like HBO? Who to come on?
Well, yeah. Well, who? Yeah, in terms of the people coming on the show. How did y'all coordinate those appearances?
They came to me. They came not to me.
Okay.
It was myself and Walter Mudu. I was the executive. I was the town executive at HBO for Def Poetry Jam Monday, and Walter Mudu was my assistant. Big up to Walter Mudu. So we would get those back in the day. It was tapes. It was big ass tapes. So people would start sending tapes into the Fat Farm office at Rush Communications. That was my makeshift office, dude. In the cafeteria. That was my makeshift office. They had me in the fucking cafeteria. So people would send people, and then whenever I had meetings around 12 o'clock, you could hear the microwave popping and shit. They're like, damn, your office is dope. You got a microwave in that shit? And I was like, yeah, I'm faking the funk. I'm faking the funk, right? And then because I was in the cafeteria, like Kamora Lee, Russell Simmons' ex-wife, she would like come in there, and they would always see water all on the floor. You know why the water was on the floor? Because I was the one that was responsible for changing the water bottles. Those big water bottles, I don't know how to turn that shit. It's like an art form, man. When you flip that shit, right? And every time they would turn the water over, it would be all over the place because I didn't know how to do that shit. So that was one of the things. They would make fun of me. They were like, yeah, that nigga, like, he the one, Bruce must have been the one that changed the water because it's all over the place. And then they had this little black dog, this little rich black dog. I used to always, I hated that dog, man, because he was rich. You know what I mean? And he just looked rich, right? And I'd be like, and he looked at me like, you broke nigga. I could have food in my hand. He looked at me like, nigga, please. I'm not eating that shit. I'm not eating that. You know what I mean? I have like something like a sandwich or something, right? Like a tuna fish sandwich. And I'd be like, here you go. Because, you know, you think of the dog smell food, they're going to run right up to you, right? He was looking at me like, nigga, please. I'm used to filet mignon, right? On caviar.
He's like, I'm getting a tomahawk steak.
Yeah. And the dog would look at me like, please. That was funny. I couldn't stand that dog, though. That's between us. So it was crazy.
I mean, but in terms of what was the book in terms, because you've all obviously, you know, you have always been a student of life in terms of a academic in your existence. What was really the cultivation of your literary pursuit in terms of like the book? I'm gonna tell you where. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you where. What got me into knowledge? See, I was always one of those individuals that I was an intellectual, even when I was in gang culture, right? Some cats got wind of me on Broadway, and they actually hit me up, and they had me go to see West Side Story on Broadway because they wanted to pick my brain and be like, yo, well, what is gang life like, you know? And then they took me to West Side Story to see this, and I'm around these two gay cats. These are like producers, right? And I'm in there, and they filming, they like actually like recording me while I'm sitting down next to them watching this film. Watching the Broadway play West Side Story. And so when the guy was just shot, they would say, well, is it like that in gang culture? I said, yeah. Well, I said, no, because they don't be singing. When people get shot, they don't be singing and shit. You know, I'm telling them the real thing. I said, when people get shot, they don't be singing and dancing, right? And so, so I had to kind of like let them know what was real from what was fake from West Side Story. So he was like, yeah, so, you know, what did you think about the fight scene and the guy getting shot? I was like, well, yeah, it's an interesting thing, but people don't be dancing and shit after they get shot, you know? And so and then they had that all on, you know, and then that was on this big radio station, and people was calling me, yo, I heard you on this radio, because it was international. And then I got a way to see West Side Story. I didn't have to pay for the shit. They paid me to be there, and so I was like, whatever. So that was pretty cool, you know. And then what got me into knowledge is when I was this is early, when I was a kid, I was skinny, big ass head, and I was real insecure, right? So I started studying on how to pick up girls at a very, very young age. And so I started eating up bookstores, bro. And I would eat up bookstores. I would eat up how-to sections of how to manipulate women, how to manipulate people. So I studied that for many, many years. And then I would listen, I would watch and read. I would read my mother's Essence magazines and Ebony magazines and just to learn about women. And then from there, that got me into knowledge, bro. And then the rest is history. The rest is history. That's why I told you all the things I specialize in. Now, I'm a master quoteologist. I have thousands of my own quotes, and the quotes that I have the memory of others is staggering. And it's not because of who I am, it's because of whose I am. Every nanosecond I'm quoted around the world, up every single day, right? And I'll give you one of my quotes. I said, no matter how low you keep your wickedness, karma knows how to limbo, right? Another one I wrote where I said, she's dressed in Gucci, but her attitude is Payless, right? Another one I wrote that said, when churches become concerts, pastors will become ticket masters, you know, and for every ticket master is a ticket slave, you know, so those are the type of quotes I write, the ones that make people think, like, damn, okay, I get that, you know. And then another quote I wrote where I said, wear your blackness like the threat that it is, right? So, you know, I write those type of quotes that make people go, okay, make them think and make them go, ooh, ah, whatever. So I've been a wordsmith for quite a while, man, and I worked my way up. I was an MC. I started out, I was Curious George MC. I'm an old school rapper, dude, from back in the day when it first got started in the Bronx. I was one of the rappers. They just called me Curious George MC.
1520 Sedgwick, August 11th, 19... Yeah.
You already know. See, so I'm going to be 57, so I'm dating myself right there. So I was one of the MCs when it first got started in the Bronx, right? I used to go to Bronx River houses. I used to go to the Patterson Projects with the Casanovas, Bronx River houses with the Zulu Nation. I used to go to I had the balls enough, because I told you I did a brief stint with the Casanova in terms of the stick-up thing. We would go to Bronx River houses. We had the balls to do it. Bronx River, straight up Zulu Nation. The Casanova crew would go to Bronx River houses right outside the party in stolen cabs with shotguns, sawed-off shotguns in paper bags. With stolen cabs, we would roll up in there. You see? We weren't, and in all due modesty, though, we weren't like, you know, getting stupid, because we were in, you know, this is Zulu Nation territory. So, we would just roll up there for the chicks, for the women, for the girls. You know, and we know what it's like to be in shoot-in parties. They call them shootouts. No, it was a shoot-in. They were shooting in the party. And then they dragged the body out, and everybody started getting back to partying again. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They pop off on each other, and then they go out, and then they do their thing. They had this crew called the Gestapo crew. The Gestapo crew was the backup to the Zulu Nation. So what was interesting that when you would go into a Zulu Nation party back in the day, look how crowded. It's a crowded joint, right? You know what they would do? They would say red alert. When they say red alert, that means that everybody that is in the Zulu Nation, you will go to the left. So they knew who was Zulu or not just by saying red alert. When they say red alert, they automatically knew to go left or go right. So just imagine this. It's a crowded party. And if the Zulu Nation wanted to find out who was Zulu Nation or not, or who was from another, you know, who was a foreigner, who came from another block, all they do is say red alert. And then when they say red alert, they knew to go left or go to the right. And then whoever's left on the floor, they could take a head count. Was that slick or what? That's some slick shit. That's some slick shit right there.
But, you know, that history of New York, man, is like,
that's
you know,
history.
in the street.
That's history.
You know, and a lot of kids really
culture.
don't understand. Yeah. You know, and a lot of kids really, you know, I mean, and one thing people got to understand, especially a lot of kids today, and we say this is, you know, like I said, older, you know, children of the culture, is that, you know, where a lot of kids look at it in terms of getting your name through YouTube or social media, you know, from, you know, IG, you know, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You know, back in the day, there was no such thing as social media. It was your actions. It was, you know, either you were the illest breakdancer, you was the coldest MC, or you was the baddest stick-up kid who's going to let his gun blow on anybody. And we not talking, they was going to catch that. They was going to catch that spot, you know, once you bust off, you know, and it's like, you know,
but it's like, but this is, I think, something where we see in the game today, and especially with what you all did with Deaf Poetry, which was just unbelievable in terms of the level of wordplay. I mean, you know, it was just, I mean, this
the
is
wordplay was
basically
crazy.
Yeah.
The wordplay was crazy. The wordplay was crazy. And you know the thing is, I was. Go ahead. I've been an MC. Because I was an MC. I was real big on lyrics. You know, DJ K-Slade, big up to him. He's a part of the Geniuses Coming movement. We go back to way back. So, so I mean years and years, because he's from Spanish Harlem. And so, he was doing this thing when he was, you know, started out with the graffiti, and then he got into the, you know, graffiti, and then he's an icon in the hip hop culture. So he was a graffiti artist.
Yeah, because his graffiti name was Dez. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, you know, and so, and I was his counselor back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was his counselor. You know, and so, you know, because he got caught up in the drug thing, and you know, and I guess he had to have counseling, you know, whatever. So I was one of his counselors, so he remembers me.
Right.
That's my dude. You know. So the thing is really, you know, it's. I'm telling you, man, it's rich in it's a blessing to be rich in street culture and book knowledge. When you have both, you can't beat that. You know, when you have street smarts as well as book smarts, and so I would implore your audience, get that book knowledge. You got the street knowledge under your belt, get the book knowledge. When you get that, nobody can touch you. Build your legacy. Don't build an empire, build a legacy.
Well, see, I think the book knowledge is like when you get the book knowledge, that's what's really going to make people scared, because that's what controls wars. That's what wins wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always had a saying. And maybe somebody said it, but I know I was always one to think of it. The pen is mightier than the sword. You know, we've all heard that. But the pen is mightier than the sword, because the pen writes the orders for the swords to be drawn, for the guns to blow, you know, for the war to pop off. You know, they write that order for it. You know, you know, when you're looking, there is no more powerful individual than the one who has intelligence, but whose intelligence is astute enough where he can appropriate and accurately illustrate it and articulate that in such a literary context to where the masses will be moved by those words. You know, those are tidal waves.
Absolutely. Let's take it to the Bible, though. Life and death lies within the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit thereof. Right?
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Right.
So the most and I tell people this all the time. I said the most dangerous person on the planet is a writer. The most dangerous person on the planet is a writer. Right? A writer. Because they are the cajolers of history. They are the truth bearers. That's why when Julius Caesar came to power, the first thing he said was kill all the poets. Why did he say kill all the poets? He said kill all the poets
because nobody can write.
Because those are the flamethrowers. Those are the truth bearers. Those are the ones that have the people uprising. Right? There you go.
Right.
So you know, so in terms of the whole philosophy era, where you get the Romanticism, you know, you get the French Revolution and all of those different things. There was a cultural element to it. Every single leader was a poet first. Mao was a poet first.
Yeah,
all
Mao
of them,
Zedong, of Communist China.
Mao Zedong, all of them were poets first. Fidel Castro was a poet first.
What about Robespierre?
All of them were poets first. Say it again.
What about Robespierre? The French figure. I read about him.
That name sounds familiar. I'm sure I've read some stuff on him.
Yeah.
But they were poets first.
Yeah.
Dante, you know, with Dante's
Inferno. Yeah.
Right. He said the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who are in a position of moral crisis who maintain their neutrality. you know. And so it's all about you know, but there were fire spitters and writers, you know, and that's why they were killing all the poets, killing all the writers. And they didn't want us to write. They didn't want us to be educated because they know once you know how to read and write, it's a wrap, you know, and you're going to know how to read contracts. You're going to know how to do a lot of things, you know. And when Frederick Douglass taught himself how to read, pick up to Frederick Douglass, I mean, he gained his freedom as a result of that.
Yeah, and I mean, you think back in the days of slaves, you know, we were caught with a book, we would be killed. And the ones who taught us would be killed because they wanted to keep us ignorant. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
so,
you know,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, you know, when we look at hip-hop today, man, when we look at some of the lyrics that we came up, you know, that we were listening to, you know, I mean, with Rakim, you know, I came through the door, I said it before. I'm like, you know, I never, I mean,
he's in my top 5. Yep.
I mean, of course, guys like, you know, even my favorite MC of all time. Oh yeah, KRS-One, but my favorite MC of all time, Kool G Rap.
Kool G Rap, wow.
Kool G Rap
one
is
of
my
the
favorite
greatest
of all time. When I remember the opening verse, he kicked off of On the Run for 1992, Live and Let Die. I got a job with the mob making G's, doing some pickups and deliveries and transporting keys. Yeah, they got me like a flunky. I'm riding around with 10 kilos inside my trunk, G, and I'm holding the suitcase with $500,000 right at my motherfucking face, and I'm trying to ignore it, but sometimes I get tempted to make a motherfucking run for it. The thought alone makes me shiver. Damn, what if I get caught? They find me floating in the Hudson River. If I escape, I'll be in shape for my life, but they might get my kid and my wife. I'm like, yo, this dude is
man,
like,
this is wordplay alone was so crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was
crazy.
Like,
and the Hudson River, everybody know the Hudson River. That's where we put the bodies at.
Yeah.
That's where the bodies at. So whenever somebody say, yo, you're going to end up in the Hudson River, I mean, it's obvious that it means you're going to be murdered, but that's where they put their bodies at. So one thing about New York,
I mean,
the first thing they do when they kill somebody, they go down south. That's why they always get caught.
Yeah.
They go to Atlanta.
Look, he said that in the last verse. He's like, he said that he's like, you know, he's like, he said, you know, I'm headed south, no doubt. And man, I mean, that joint is
that's
just,
the first thing.
I mean,
they
guys
south.
Like, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, of course, guys like Rav's Cast. Shout out to the West Coast MCs like Rav's Cast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what did he kick off on Soul and Ice remix? The Waterproof MC. You ain't wetting me. You need to start rapping and start robbing banks like Steady D. Because see, no matter how much green you take, you never taste the avocado. Just another broke Versace model. Tiger Woods ain't even a part of the game of survival. That's why I'm pissing in all crystal bottles. Drink Listerine.
Wow.
Brush my teeth with amphetamine so I can sound fresh and say dope things in between. I was like, woo, woo.
And you know the thing is, let me tell you something though. I respect the West Coast rappers. They could not touch the East Coast though. They learn from us, bro. They learn from us. They got a different swag and they have a different style and they have a different swag. You know, when it comes to, I'm biased. I know I'm biased. But New York is definitely the blueprint, and everybody else did their own. They took their own spin. They put their own spin. So you got from the South, they got their spin. You got people from California, they got their spin. You know, but New York is going to always be that blueprint. That's the blueprint right there. And everybody put their own spin on it.
He said it best. He said the East created it, the West decorated it.
Wow. Real talk. And KRS is one of my top 5. Definitely. Like if you would ask me right now, I would definitely say Rakim. I definitely say KRS-One. I would definitely say Black Thought, who was ridiculous. Okay. Definitely Busta Rhymes. People were sleeping on him. You got to be stupid to sleep on him. Busta is ridiculous. Busta is ridiculous. You know, he's definitely one of them. You know, and so yeah.
But the difference is it just goes back between Clinton and Obama.
That album is ELE2 is incredible, man, because it's one of those albums that it didn't just not only stick to a theme of apocalyptic times, but it also showed that he ain't afraid to take chances and showcase that strong will of his bars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He won't hit chase.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
So yeah.
Where do you? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead.
I'm listening. No, I'm listening.
I was just saying, where do you think, in terms of the lyricism, because we all grew up in that era where MCing was, you didn't get on the microphone until you were ready. Shout out to Uncle Rich, Richie Rich out in the Bay. Shout out to Oakland, the town, when we had him on the show. He talked about how, back in the town, man, it's like you won't get in the studio. Can you remember that interview we did with him? And he said you had to, like, they won't go put you. You won't even get in the studio until, to record until the streets knew you were ready.
Right. That's true though. I mean, the thing is now you get a lot of can rappers who will get up in the gate or get a play, and then they just like, and I'm not going to give them a bad rap though. You get the mumble rappers, you get certain rappers. This is for their time. This is their era. They have their fan base, people loving them, and I'm like, because on my Genius is Common movement, we have a TikTok. We have our TikTok on Genius is Common, which is banging, by the way. And I get to listen to those like little 10-second, 30-second snippets of their music, and the beats is crazy, and they be saying some crazy things or whatever. It's their era, right? We were of a different era, and so I can't hate on them. I mean, they do what they do. We did what we did. They do what they do. We do what we did, and some of them would probably look at us and be like, we were whack with the things we were saying.
Right.
I'm not mad at them if they feel that way. It's our culture.
The good part about the game now, the good thing about the game now is there's so many options now. It's a point where you ain't got to really depend on outlets to feed you good music. Like, we discovered so many good acts and good albums throughout 2020 that I was like, man, this is one of the best years hip-hop had.
That's true. Man. I feel you. I feel you in that.
I mean, we got Busta coming back, dropping a crazy album. Shout out to Griselda, because all of them
Nas.
Man, yeah, Nas. I mean,
so everybody has a smorgasbord of who they want to pick and get with, or whatever camp they want to get with. And so, but I'm from that fire spitter, where the tight lyrics, that's why I said that little snippet I gave you with myself when I said I'm back to the grill again, to cook up more plots than Gilligan, right?
Gilligan's Island.
You got to be, Gilligan's Island. The young cats might not know what that shit is. For I'm still bizarre who raised the bar over shallow reservoirs, who talks about Mars with low radars but couldn't reach a star. They were kissing cousins to a quasar, couldn't hit a note that they were Julio and Glacier. But I'm still a no-limit soldier, slash wordsmith and sculptor, pen mightier than the Glock in your holster, right? When you get in, for the scripted format, it brings about tits for tats, stats and gas, mugshots and photomats at upstate habitats, for their prison industrially complex, uses Texas Instruments, right? So I hit them you got to hit them from so many different angles, where it's like, what? So I love writing. I love poetry. I love spoken word. I'm not on this spoken word circuit. Won many contests before, not on it, but I can bounce in and out of different genres, and that's where the power comes in, when you can go from one genre to another. But the way I used to rap was old school rapping, though. On the train, just in my trance and thinking about a little romance, and I looked to the left and I looked to the right because the girl over there was out of sight. She had unborn George jeans who looked real sweet. That's one of my old rhymes from back in the days when I was Curious George. They don't rap like that anymore. It's like, that's, cats now laugh at your ass. Like, what? Get out of here with that. But every culture has its own, thing. So the mumble rapping and all of them that they're doing their thing right now, and the trap rappers or whatever, I'm not mad at them. They're doing their thing. Get it. Get that bag. But, the thing is, for me, I appreciate gospel rap more so than anything because it's about salvation. It's not talking about killing over a bag. It's not talking about calling women bitches and hoes, and it's not about that. It's about uplifting our people, uplifting the Lord first and foremost. And that's why at the very beginning I said, let me thank the good Lord for blessing me to be here before you, right? And it's because Jesus Christ turned my whole life around, bro. That he's the answer. He turned my whole life around. So, you know, I can hopscotch in between so many different things, but that's why I'm all about unity. I'm all about, even with my gang anthology, that's not about glorifying gangs. That's about getting them to get their feelings out so they can get out of their feelings, right? You know, instead of getting in their feelings, get out of their feelings and just write that shit out so they can teach people, so it could be therapeutic for them. And so my Bandana Republic, that's one of my legacies. That Poetry Jam on HBO, along with Deborah Point and Danny Simmons, another one of my legacies. And then the Genius is Common movement. And so that's what I would like to definitely share with your audience. So the Genius is Common movement is a movement that actually got started from one of my quotes. Because I would go around the country and I would ask the youth, when you hear the word genius, what image comes to mind? And they would always say Einstein or a light bulb. And every now and then I would get a Jordan, and that troubled me. And I said, you know what? Let me write a quote about that. And the quote is, notwithstanding Einstein, genius is common. And then that turned into the slogan, genius is common, which turned into an entire movement. As we speak, we have a presence in all 50 states, 14 countries with 23 ambassadors and growing. We have a presence in Jamaica, Barbados, Ghana, Kenya, Dubai, Norway, Nigeria, the UK, Canada, the Bahamas. We're about to have a presence in the Dominican Republic and Panama. You're talking to the head honcho. I run everything and I own everything. I own a trademark, I own a copyright. As I'm the only Facebook group administrator because you have to keep this close to the belt. We're the first and only YouTube video-based movement on the planet. Dude, we have videos from 67 celebrities. 67 celebrities did Genius videos. 67, actor Malik Yoba, Nikki Giovanni, The Last Poets, the late Tommy Ford from The Martin Lawrence Show, Bernadette Stannis, a.k.a. Thelma from Good Times, actor Dorian Bush, Rodney Perry. We even have a Genius is Coming video from the first black Bond girl from the James Bond flicks. Her name is Trina Park, Black Don't Crack. We have one from the legendary actor Antonio Fargas, who played Huggy Bear, Starsky and Hutch, and I'm Going to Get You, Sucker. We have videos from Bill Duke, the legendary actor.
Yeah, the director.
Bill Duke.
Yeah,
director who's
he was
Predator, Car Wash, Minister Society.
And
boom,
also, what James Bond movie was he in? I don't remember which one. I was thinking of. It's Yaphet Kotto I was thinking of. My mistake. But Bill Duke, of course, was in. But he was, of course,
Predator,
in
Commando,
and,
Car Wash, Minister Society.
Yeah, Action Jackson. Can't forget Action Jackson.
All of that.
Shot of Carl
Weathers.
That shit. Yeah.
Right. He's been acting for 40 years. Antonio Fargas has been acting for 54 years. They did Genius is Coming videos. Tarana Burke, who created the Me Too movement, she did a video. We have videos from 37 classic vintage rappers. 37 did Genius is Coming videos. Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Melly Mel, Do It All Kelly from Lords of the Underground, Claude Paradise Clay from the X-Clan, Easy 80 from the Cold Crush Brothers, Raheem from Grandmaster Flash, the Straight 5 MC, DJ Cool Red Alert, DJ K-Slay, the First Scratcher. We even have a Genius is Coming video from Alonzo Williams, who's the godfather of West Coast hip-hop, who's responsible for Dr. Dre, NWA, and Ice Cube. We have his video.
Yeah.
And my dude, Stick from M1, Sticking M1 of Dead Prez, Stickman is about to do one. He has this movement called Fit Hop. Instead of hip-hop, it's Fit Hop, about fitness, right? And the way I was able to connect and know about Dead Prez is when I was a member of the Black Panther Collective, again, which is an offshoot of the Panther Party, right? I used to attend their political education classes at the Brooklyn Armory, So we used to attend their political education classes. So Dead Prez has always been political, right? And so, but they were always about fitness and eating right. So now, Stickman has this movement called Fit Hop, and he wants me to be a part of that, and he's going to he's going to speak to Black Thought about getting him to do a Genius is Coming video, because that's his dude. So, big up the Stickman, big up the Black Thought, all of that. Big up the M1 in reference to Dead Prez. Miss them, man. I miss them. It's bigger than hip hop.
Dead Prez album is incredible.
Let's Be Free
is one of my favorite albums ever.
And then Revolutionary but Gangster.
Revolutionary but Gangster. That's what I said to you. Get them to tie those rags together. That's why they was like, yo, you must bang for freedom, right? If you're going to bang for freedom. If not, tie those rags together. But tie those rags together and bang for freedom, right?
And what does Saigon say? The color purple, red and blue make color purple.
Wow, there you go. There you go. You know, and big up to Saigon too. So I mean, I'm telling you, I'm loving it. So the Genius is Common movement basically is an anti-elitist movement. We're about taking the elitism out of the word genius. So when they say you're only a genius if you have 130, 140 IQ, that's nonsense. That was a made-up number at Stanford University to make you 1% of the population, which is rooted in elitism.
And
that's why they
try to call that Mensa class, like especially in the 160
pure
range.
Garbage.
Mensa, yeah.
Mensa, pure poppycock. That was an arbitrary number made up of Stanford University to make you 1% of the population, which is rooted in elitism. What they don't want you to know is that the true origin of the word genius doesn't just apply to intellect. Even Einstein said we're all geniuses. And the to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree or spend its whole life believing that it's stupid. Buckminster Fuller said that every child is born a genius, but the process of life, the genius is done. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said that talent has a target that no one else can hit, but genius has a target that no one else can see. So we're the first movement to let the world know. We're the first movement to let the world know that the true origin of the word genius comes from the word genie out of northern Africa, not ancient Rome. And the genie is the guiding spirit within the person. So the genius in us is the genie in us, and the genie in us is the God in us we've been lied to. Look at the word genie in Genesis. Genesis is the beginning. God is the Alpha and the Omega. Look at the word genie
the beginning and the end.
Your genes is your whole makeup, right? So the cat is out the bag and the jig is up. We're the first movement to take the elitism out of the word genius. Thus, we are an anti-elitist movement. Why do you think 67 celebrities jumped on board? Because they realized that genius is common. And I would implore your audience to go to www.geniusiscommon.com. And so it all got started for one of my quotes. Go around the country and I would ask the youth, when you hear the word genius, what image comes to mind? And they would always say Einstein or a light bulb. But every now and then I would get a Jordan. And that troubled me. And then that's why I said, write a quote about that. And the quote is, notwithstanding Einstein, genius is common. Then I turned into the slogan, genius is common, which turned into an entire movement. Presence in all 50 states, 14 countries, like I said earlier, 14 countries with 23 ambassadors and growing, and the rest is history. We're about to break mainstream any day, hour, a month now, like Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movements, respectively, right? So like Garvey said, you're up, you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will. Stop banging on each other, like come together, unify, right? Like Garvey said, up, you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will. Stop feeding into this culture of this demonic culture that is all about fractionization, having you killing us killing our own people. They make money off of us doing that. They make money off of our death, of us killing each other. They make money, and they're chilling in Beverly Hills while we in the hood, so-called hood, banging out on each other, and they're making money off of us. So we have to be wiser than that, smarter than that, sharper than that. You got people in prison that would love to be out free, physically free, right? Because you have a lot of people that are more free than people that are physically free in the world, but they would love to be physically free, and they can't, right? And we're squandering out here wanting to be thuggy and gangster. They're trying to get away from that shit, right? They're trying to get away from it. And here is you got this culture, this demonic culture that's trying to get you into it. Stupid. It's backwards.
And it's wild, Bruce, you say that because, and I know this might be a controversial statement. I'm going to be that guy because at times, and this is not indicative of all of us as black people, but I've noticed this, and this has been this way for a while, that some of us have a very unhealthy obsession and romanticism with tragedy. Whether relationships or whether with the street life, when it comes to our women in terms of some of the men that our women pick, where they'll go with the thug instead of the good guy, or, a lot of dudes feel like they rather just be out in the street, busting a gun rather than, busting a book open,
they make it's
about,
fun. They make it like it's a video game.
Yeah, why it's like that? Because we've been socially engineered to be that way. There's millions of dollars that have been like hundreds of millions of dollars had been put into the community, the black community, black and brown and red community, to make us do the things that we're doing. It wasn't just by, situation or circumstance. That was definitely by it wasn't no happenstance. That was by straight up design.
Did we mention the war on drugs? Will we put the war on drugs into that?
Exactly. The war on drugs is really code for war on black and brown folk, right? That's what it's all about. Who are the biggest drug dealers? The biggest drug dealers are the pharmacists, big pharma. Look at the contradiction, right? When you go and you get drugs or aspirin, those are drug dealers. Right? They're straight up drug dealers.
And they also use a lot of different code words in terms of how they'll try to when it's when it has to do with people of color involved in terms of drug trafficking, it's violent drug gangs. But when it's white people who get caught up in it, it's an epidemic of
It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic. But with us, it didn't become a problem until they started spazzing out on drugs. Then now it's Houston is a problem, right? And just because they use a different drug than us doesn't mean less than. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Different doesn't mean less than. Just because we may smoke crack and they might get into pills and we smoking crack. I'm doing crack. You're a pillhead. I'm a crackhead. You're a pillhead. So you're a meth head. Okay, you're a meth head. And I'm a crackhead or whatever. Different doesn't mean less than. We're still addicts. It's the hypocrisy. The same thing with, I said this in another show that I was interviewed on, where it's a hypocrisy with the whole killing situation. If you're in the street, you consider a thug. If you holding up your corner and you got like 5 kills under your belt, or you a thug. But yet, if you have 100 kills under your belt in the army or in the military, you're a general.
And that's wild you say that, Bruce, because Megadeth had a song called Captive Honor. It said, if you kill a man, you're a murderer. Kill them all. It said, kill many, and you're a conqueror. Kill them all, and you're a god.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. That was off of the Countdown to Extinction album, one of my favorite heavy metal albums by Megadeth. That was, but I mean, what is it? And of course, there was a song they closed it out with. It was called "Ashes in Your Mouth." It started off. It was because it was about the cycles of war, and it could be applied in any place. If I can indulge it, because the lines of it are just unbelievable. It says, "People have round shoulders from bearing heavy loads, and the soldiers liberate them, laying mines along their roads. Wow. Sorrows paid for valor were too much to recall, where the countless corpses are piled up along the Wailing Wall, melting down all metals, turning plows and shears to swords. Shun words of the Bible, we need implements of war. Chalk lines and red puddles of those who have been slain. Destiny, that crooked schemer, says the dead shall rise again."
Wow. It's deep. So I would implore your audience to go to www.geniusiscommon.com. Enough of this spell funny. GENIUSISCOMMON.com. You go to our TikTok, it's Genius is Common TikTok. We have our Facebook page, all of that. So when you go to the website, you can check out. We have over 850 Genius is Common videos on our website, Pinterest page, and YouTube channels. From people from as young as 4 years old. We have videos from people as young as 4 years old, right? And people respect my leadership because of the fact that they know I'm about my people. I'm about the people. The things we were talking about earlier, those are the things I did back in the day. And if somebody wants to judge me, then I'm like, yo, Jesus' 12 disciples, all of them were dirty. So who are you to judge? Every last one of Jesus' disciples were dirty. Moses was a murderer. Lot was incestuous. Noah was a drunkard, right? I mean, come on now.
Right.
All of them were dirty. That's what Jesus said in the Bible. That's what God says in the Bible. all have fallen short of the glory of God. There's not one of you that is righteous, not one. He said, your righteousness is as filthy rags. Jesus said, all have fallen short of the glory of God. So no one can judge us. And they were trying to judge Jesus. When he was around pimps and hoes, it was like, yo, why are you around these people? He says, because I'm here to heal the sick, not the well. Right? So keep your head up out there. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care if you come out of gang culture. I don't care if you come out of whatever. If you were drug addicted, I don't care whatever it is that you did. God loves you. You just need to love yourself and forgive yourself. And you can turn your life around. You can turn your life around. I don't care what it is. I told my story earlier, how I got kicked out of high school for inciting a riot, and then one thing led to the other. That's the best thing that happened to me, is getting kicked out of the high school for inciting a riot. I didn't go to jail. I went to Job Corps. Yeah, while I was at Job Corps, I was bugging and flipping out, whatever. But I didn't get kicked out. Somebody believed in me and my academics. His name was Tiny, a white dude called Tiny. He was a bear wrestler. They called him Tiny. He was big as hell, though. He believed in me, and he didn't kick me out. And then one thing led to the other, and I went from there to college, and the rest is history. You know, and so you never know how your life is going to turn around. So just continue to believe in yourself and unify. Love yourself. Hurt people. Susan Taylor said that from Essence. So learn to love you. So you can't hurt nobody if you love you. If you love you, you're not going to just hurt your brother, right? If you love you, and give out passes. Stop being tight, getting in your feelings because somebody's staring at you. So what? They're staring at your woman. So what? So what? As long as they don't put no mints on her, you know what I mean? It's all good.
Exactly. No violence.
You should want somebody looking at your woman.
You
should want somebody. I don't mind people looking at my woman because they look at my woman. It's like, yo, that's a compliment to me. You know, but as long as they don't get stupid, you know, if they get stupid with it, then that's a problem. Houston, we have a problem. They get crazy, then I'm going to pop off on you. I'm going to pop off on you. That
Harlem BX going to come back out again.
Come straight out. I keep that, you know, that yo, I'll be ready. The thing, I keep it locked up. I keep it locked up because I know my people and I love my people. I keep it locked up. But a person would have to really be real 730 for me to pull that out. You know what I'm saying? I don't get caught up in that. You know, all the face fighting and me mugging. I don't do that. I wear my shades, keep people out of my business. You don't know where I'm looking at, what I'm looking at. I keep my shades on, boom, boom, boom. I stay in my lane, boom, boom, boom. They know my swag is right. They can tell my swag is like, you know, I don't walk like my age, so they know my swag is right. I'm not like one of those old cats trying to walk like they're young. No, I got a smooth swag, that New York swag or whatever. You know what I mean? They like, this old nigga.
Come on, man. You
Harlem
raised, I'm good. Man. I mean, Harlem is style.
I was born in Harlem, but I was raised in the Bronx. I'm Bronx raised, though. I'm Bronx raised.
Yeah, you got the Bronx swagger. Like I said, Fat Joe, French Montana.
I got a Bronx
you know, like
and Brooklyn swag. Yeah. I got a Bronx and Brooklyn swag all into one. You know, but my accent is Brooklyn. I don't have a Bronx accent anymore. I have a Brooklyn accent. And it's that whiny.
So Brooklyn?
Yeah, I got a Brooklyn. Yeah, I got a whiny. The Brooklyn accent is like you sound like you're talking through your nose, and like that.
Right.
It's like a whiny, like you talk. It's Brooklyn talk very nasally, and I've been there for 15 years, so I wind up getting that Brooklyn accent. But it is what it is. I'm not mad at it, you know. But I wish I had the Bronx accent back. But this was good though. I appreciate the both of you. This was fun, man. This was fun.
Look, we got
that's how I see it off the Cuff Radio, man. We built from science to knowledge.
I love it.
To building all forms of different dialogue, man.
I love it.
We welcome it all.
This is good. Well, shout out to Off the Cuff Radio. You know, you're doing your thing. I mean, this was an honor to be on the show, and those 2 hours went by real fast, man. This is lovely, bro. I'm telling you, this was like. I'm talking to my comrades. You know, this is like a regular conversation.
Man, look, it's like this. Great mind.
As we're going off the air right now, I'll go ahead and flat out say that, see, this is the vibe that we like to bring with our guests, is that we don't want it to feel like an interview. But you know, when you bring it to feel like an interview.
You're doing a good job. Doing a good job of that.
When it feels like an interview, it feels like, man, I got to sit here and answer the same redundant questions that I've answered all day.
True. I like your style, man. The both of y'all, you'll play off of each other very well. So big up to the both of you. Really appreciate you allowing me on this platform. I don't take anyone or anything for granted. And I want to just, shout out the whole Genius is Coming movement. We have big things coming on the horizon. And like I said, this movement is about to break mainstream any day, hour, a month now, like Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movements, respectively. Check out our Facebook page. Has over 20,700 and some odd people in it. I'm running that. I run everything. I own everything and I run everything. I own the trademark, own the copyright, and I'm the only Facebook group administrator because you have to keep this close to the belt. So, no one has a red phone, bro. No one has a red phone. You have to keep that red phone to yourself because you don't want nobody sabotaging your ish. So you have to be careful with that. Now, the only one that gets the red phone, the only one that will get the red phone is my partner. That's about it. My woman, that's it. So she'll get the red phone, but nobody else is getting that.
Oh, yeah, we got to give one more shout. We got to give shout out to Melody, a.k.a. China Doll, for making this connection together in the first place. Big shout out to you. Absolutely,
Melody. Yeah, without a doubt. She's a part of the Genius Coming movement, so I appreciate her making the connection and connecting the dots. That's a big up to her, big time. So, but I appreciate the both of you. You're doing great work, man. You're giving a voice to the voice. So, really appreciate that.
And I got to say this, Boo.
You're welcome back again, brother. You definitely welcome, man. We'll just set it up for another time because we just scratched the surface. We ain't really getting to the root of the tutor,
exactly,
so they say out here, the root of the tutor.
From the rooter to the tutor, right? Exactly. But I appreciate y'all, man. But have a blessed evening. Thank you for your time. And, I'm looking forward to part 2.
Definitely. And look, stay sowing those seeds.
We're going to stay in touch.
Yeah, stay sowing those seeds,
no doubt.
man. Stay sowing those seeds.
Absolutely. No doubt. All right, y'all?
Definitely.
All right, peace, y'all.
God bless. Peace. All right.
Peace.